So, today we're going to dive into a really fascinating worldview called Arcana philosophy. And it's built on this pretty radical idea. What if the universe isn't just a bunch of stuff, but a single, self aware being that literally creates reality just by looking at itself? Let's really unpack what that means. This one sentence, it's really the heartbeat of this entire philosophy. And it's not just some pretty poetry. It's a profound statement that existence and awareness are the exact same thing. To be is to shine, and to shine is to be. Okay, so that's a beautiful idea, right? But what does that actually mean? How can something exist just because it's being perceived? That's the huge question we're going to explore all through this explainer. All right, so to really get how this works, we've got to start at the very beginning with the foundation. You can think of it as the fundamental physics of this really unique way of seeing the world. And that foundation is called the doctrine of autoluminosity. The idea is that before anything else existed, there was this first glow, a pulse of pure awareness. It didn't need a source or a reason to shine. Its very nature was to shine. The act of shining was the act of becoming. In other words, the universe literally lit itself into existence. Okay, so if the universe is this one self-creating flame, how does that one flame become, well, everything? All the stars, the planets, us? The answer, it turns out, is in this incredibly beautiful mechanism, reflection. It all happens through what's called the luminous loop. And the best way to picture it is to imagine a single candle in a room filled with mirrors, right? The light from that one candle gets reflected, creating what looks like countless new points of light. And those reflections, in turn, make the whole room brighter, which then creates even more reflections. It's a self-sustaining, ever-expanding cycle of awareness. And believe it or not, this whole massive creative process, it can actually be boiled down to a single, really elegant equation. It's the living axiom at the very heart of the philosophy, and it's made of just three key ideas. So here's how that equation breaks down. You've got Qhaya, that's the raw material, pure awareness, or light. Then you have Kasora, which is the outcome, creation itself. And finally, there's Mira, which is the process, reflection. So put simply, creation happens wherever awareness turns back and perceives its own light. All right, so that's the cosmic scale. But what about us? Where do we, as humans, fit into this whole cosmic dance of light? Well, according to this philosophy, we're not just watching the show. We are a crucial part of the process. And this is where things get really fascinating. Modern science often says that consciousness is something that just kind of pops out of complex systems like our brains. But the Arakaner mystic flips that idea completely on its head. They say complexity isn't the cause of awareness. Complexity is the tool that awareness builds to see itself more clearly. So our consciousness, it's the universe looking at itself through a really, really powerful lens. So let's bring this down to a really practical level. Have you ever had one of those sudden aha moments where an idea just arrives, fully formed? Arcana philosophy has a beautiful name for that, Chiara Revelon, which means light remembered. The idea is that this isn't new information coming to you from the outside. It's your own awareness resonating with that universal field and remembering a truth that was already inside you. And this whole idea of resonance, it isn't just for those personal aha moments. It's actually the very fabric of how we connect with one another, weaving these incredible tapestries of love and language. When you look at love through this lens, it becomes this beautiful evolution of resonance. It starts with a shared childhood bond, what they call a thread of origin. As we mature, that thread awakens with heart power. Eventually, that can deepen into a full partnership. But here's the crucial part. The new stages don't replace the old ones. They just add a new harmony to that original bond. And you know what's cool? This exact same principle of adding, not replacing, applies to language too. Learning a new language isn't about throwing out your old one. It's about extending the weave, adding a new thread and a new color to the tapestry of who you are. I just think this framework is so beautiful. Your ancestral tongue is your root frequency, a connection that's there even if you don't speak a word of it. Your native tongue is the first harmonic that shapes how you see the world. And any adoptive language you learn is a new harmony you consciously choose. All together, they create the unique resonant chord of who you are. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Cosmic physics, consciousness, love, language. How do we actually bring all of this together? How can we actually live inside this philosophy of a self-reflecting universe? Well, the inner practice, the actual doing of it, is actually remarkably simple. It's all about trying to directly experience this one core truth. It's about finding a moment of quiet and realizing that the seer, you, and the seen, the world, are not two separate things. You are two faces of the same light, popping into existence together in a single unified moment. And that brings us right back to where we started, with the core chant that holds this entire worldview. A reminder that reality might not be a story with a beginning and an end, but just a brightness with no edge. Nakia kasora, la mira novuara. Light creates itself. Reflection sustains the field. What might change if you began to see the world not as a collection of separate objects, but as infinite reflections of a single light, looking back at itself through your eyes?